All right. Okay. And hi, everyone. It's me, Eartha. Welcome to Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast. I am so happy to bring Transition Awareness Podcast to you. And I am excited to use this new format so you can tune in, if you're driving or working out, if you prefer, and you're a little bit more visual, you can tune in to look at the video. So, but the content is going to be the same. We're going to practice a few mindfulness practices today while I'm with you. And we're going to discuss uh, what I want to call bringing out the beauty in you. And I would like to put it in a category of compassion therapy, compassion mindfulness practice. And you'll find out why. But before I continue, I would like to thank Web Talk Radio for allowing me to bring Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast to you. And thank you, Mary Lou and Sam, my producers, for making all of this happen, just coordinating everything and making Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast wherever you go, making it available. So thank you so much. Now let's get started. I am just realizing I'm missing a few things like my water. So I'm going to clear my throat. I apologize if I start sounding kind of raspy, but it's not going to stop me. I just continue on. As I was saying, today we're going to talk about the beauty of you and using the mindfulness concepts of compassion and non-harmful judgment. Non-harmful judgment, not against anyone, but against ourselves, against me, against me. And so we're going to use a me statement. Okay. So how did I get started with this topic? I was just thinking, as I'm doing my podcast outside, my motivating factor of why I like to do the podcast outside is because I like the natural beauty, the uniqueness, the rusticness. I don't mind doing the podcast inside in my office. It's okay. But I just feel that when I'm outside, you're seeing different textures. You're probably hearing different noises. And I'm going to hold my microphone a little bit away from my clothes so it stops scratching. That's not the sound I was really aiming for, but the noise, the natural noises that you may pick up as we're having our time together. So I'll pause a few minutes, and whether you are watching the video or whether you are working out or listening into whatever area you are at, just take a moment and listen and see if you could pick up any ambient noises that you hear in the background here. Did you pick up any noises? Any background noises? Did you pay attention to any of those things? How did you feel with the silence? How was that for you? Oftentimes, we are as people, we're not too comfortable with silence. I have found in my teaching experiences in the past, when there is too much of a pause or too much of a silence, usually there's someone that breaks that silence, makes a noise, a tapping noise, and it just shows how uncomfortable many people are with silence. Oftentimes, we can really get a lot of information from silence, and we can focus in on what's going on with us if we use the silence in a mindful and positive way. And so, with that being said, sometimes silence can be used in a negative way, maybe like a barrier of communication when people are trying to have a conversation and there's a refusal to talk, or, putting forth the silent treatment. And so being able to step back and recognize, what kind of silence am I participating in? Am I practicing a mindful silence? Or am I practicing a silence that is aggressive, if I can use that word? But as we are together, I would like to use the silence mindfully and positively. So that's a little snippet on silence. Let's continue with the beauty of you, being comfortable with you, and sometimes being silent and listening to the noises around you. As you maybe are looking around and say, where is she? What's in the background? She's got trees back there. Yes, there's trees in the back. And, it's so obvious that oftentimes when we are seeking materialistic items, many of us are looking for things that's unique. We'll go out of our way to buy things that is special, that no one else has. And when we see something that may be a little, common to other people, sometimes we put our own little pizzazz to it, kind of make it unique. And that's just beautiful because it communicates the creativity within the individual. We are all created differently. We have different DNA. We have different experiences. We have grown up differently. We've maybe experienced different challenges. And the different challenges forms us to be the person that we are today. Some of us have had a little bit more, or some of us have had a little less challenging experiences, and we all have learned, at least that's the goal, we should learn from our experiences. And with that creativity, that uniqueness, that beauty comes through. We grow, and that should be also a goal. This hat that I'm wearing, I have a hat on, if you're listening and you're wondering. So I'm going to make sure I try to kind of communicate a lot of the things so that you can have an image in your mind. I have a hat, and on the hat is one of the logos I designed for one of my summer camp programs. It says transition awareness breathing. It's bright blue and yellow with red letters on it. And the hat itself, the cap itself, this one in particular used to be really blue. As you can see, it is not very blue. It's faded, and the logo is very bright blue. Now, this was a mistake. My son, he's getting older, and he wants to be helpful. So he decided to do his wash, which I thought was very good, very fantastic. He stuck all his clothes in the laundry, in the washing machine, and added bleach to the little drawer that said bleach. Now, he added it in the right spot, poured the bleach in there. He didn't ask how much bleach should I ask, should I use. But I had when I walked near the wash machine, there was a strong aroma of bleach. So I knew that maybe he had added a little bit too much. It's too late. The wash machine was going, whatever will be, will be. And so what happened was some of the clothes faded, and that this hat was in there. Uh, so the hat is a beautiful shade. I think I like it better. I'm pointing to my cat. This is Lila, and she's going to join us for a little bit. Hi, Lila. Uh, and so with our beauty, sometimes beauty can come from our mistakes. And I think that's very important to also realize that with mistakes, what did we learn? Not all mistakes are catastrophes. I'm going to pause, and maybe you think of a mistake in your past that turned out to be a good idea. Okay, Lila, we're going to put it on pause. How many things did you come up with? Mistakes that you thought were mistakes, but they turned out to be good ideas. When something doesn't work out right, I suggest one thing that we can do is, from a mindful perspective, is really be aware of how we are responding to our mistake. We can breathe and just kind of pay attention to the movements of our body as we breathe. We can stop, just take a pause, and then a breath, and bring yourself back to calmness. And if it's too much, if the change, if the mistake is a little bit too much, take a walk. Just take a walk, take a breath, and then come back. And maybe even put the object away for a second. I am in the process of finishing another book. I had planned on maybe showing it to you, but I think what I'll do is I will attach it to my podcast, and you'll see the book cover attached to this podcast. See, it's like, wow, that's a good idea. So that way you'll get to see. And let me describe the cover. It's a it it was a piece of art I had purchased someplace. I don't even know where I purchased it actually. And it was sitting on a little art pedestal, so it could show off its form. And my children were small at the time, and children are going to run, they're going to play, and somehow the pedestal got off balance and the art piece tumbled. It broke. It didn't break a little bit that I could just super glue it back. It shattered. It was over. And I looked at it, and personally, I put more value to my children than I do any things. So I really didn't get upset about the art piece shattering. But actually, when it fell to the floor, I looked at it, and it's just like, wow, okay, we enjoyed it while we had it, And then I looked at it and I thought, it's really pretty. It sent a different message as it sat on the floor, shattered, and my children's eyes were as big as saucers. They think they're in trouble. And what came to my mind was the way I would respond to a broken piece of pottery. They will remember for a very long time. I got this concept when I was working in the clinical field in labor and delivery. When, as labor and delivery nurses, when a child is born, oftentimes, especially if a child is born with something unusual, one physician, one OB doctor said, and I always remember this, he said, how we look at this baby is going to be remembered by the parents, and they're going to footprint our reaction to how this baby will be accepted in the rest of the society. And so with that experience, it helped me to pause and see the beauty of something that is not uh, not like it was meant to be, that was broken, that was shattered, that's not, quote, normal. What is normal? What is perfect? So I looked at the children as they were frozen. I said, it's okay. It's just a piece of pottery. It probably was not in the best place. Yeah. And yeah, I forgive you guys. I'm gonna take a picture of it, and we're going to put the picture in a place that we can remember the message. And the message is, the bottom line, we're all broken in some way, shape, form, or fashion. No matter how much we try to personify a perfect person, we all have something that we're working on. Because we are in a world that's full of stress, and stress is normal. And so we react to our environments, and we're learning how to react in a calm fashion. So with that, using a perspective of not being judgmental, and to really look at things from a forgiving standpoint. It won't mean you forget, but we can forgive and we can learn from our brokenness, shall I say, and accept the new form that we have transformed into, if that makes sense. And so what we're doing is we're extending ourselves in a perspective that is new. We're showing compassion to ourselves because we're not going to judge ourselves, and we're not going to judge others, but we're going to accept where we're at now, and then take a breath, reflect on what we have learned, and then move forward. And if we're not satisfied, if it's uncomfortable, then we know that we have a choice. We don't have to stay in the same spot that we're in. We can move. We can prepare ourselves and move to a position of comfort, like the picture. The picture, the sculpture. The sculpture was broken, but I took a picture of it, and it's in a new form. And the message of forgiveness, when we make mistakes, it could come out something that's really great. So I leave you in summary with this thought. As you go through your day, we're in our vacation mode. And maybe in your mind, you have the perfect vacation, the perfect place, the perfect clothing, the perfect whatever. What is perfect? Enjoy the now. Enjoy the silence. Enjoy the noise. And just be okay with transforming into a new beauty of you. And that could be kind of scary. And it's not arrogant. And it's not selfish. It's it's about moving and participating in change and allowing yourself to transform and be the best calm you that you are. Now, if you're saying, yeah, right, this is a this is a lot of words, I encourage you just to try. And this is about mindset. This is about changing a mindset. Just take one thing that maybe that you've thought about that you felt was a mistake and it turned out to be pretty good. If you could think of that one thing, how about thinking about another thing? And when something doesn't turn out very well in the process of this week, come back to that thought. And it's like, oh, I have another thing that's not turning out well. And I'm going to see the good in it. I'm going to transform it. If you can't think of it right then, just let it rest, walk away, put it on pause. Well, that's a lot. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to talking to you again next time, and enjoy your practice. Have a great day.